You walk out that tunnel to play in front of those fans, and it's just a bunch of basketball junkies there to enjoy beautiful basketball. So I still get chills thinking about just walking out that tunnel and the roar of the crowd. It's just such a big moment.
1, 2, 3.
My name is Tyler Harvey, 2015 NCAA scoring leader, and this is a March Madness crash course. So March Madness is a combination of 64 teams, the top 64 teams in the nation, all Division I, that compete to try to win the main championships. In order to get to March Madness, you either have to win your division or you have to have such a tough schedule during the regular season and win a majority of those games to get a bid into March Madness. So usually the major schools like Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, they have a better chance of getting to March Madness if they don't win their division. But schools like where I went, Eastern Washington, we have to win we were in the Big Sky, we have to win that championship to get a bid to play in March Madness. Yeah, so there's a lot of different divisions in basketball in the States, but most notably is Division I, Division II, and Division III. So Division I's the highest level, obviously Division II is a little bit under that, and Division III is under that. So Division III, there's usually not a lot of scholarships that are given out. Division II, a couple more, and then Division I, there's obviously a lot more scholarships that teams can give out to players. Probably the biggest deal in college basketball to win March Madness. It's really, really hard, and not a lot of, a lot of mid-major schools don't win it. I don't know if there's ever been one, maybe one or two, but it's probably one of the hardest things to achieve in college sports. Yeah, I've been watching March Madness since a kid, and you always just expect to see the Dukes, North Carolina, Kentucky, Virginias. There's a lot of times those teams are the ones that make it to the Final Four. Of course, you're going to have Cinderella teams. Those are the teams that nobody really expects to make it that far into the tournament, but for the majority of the time, it's a big conference and a big team that usually wins March Madness.
I'm contemplating and chasing, handling biz right now. We never waiting and patient, jumping at the crib right now.
College basketball, coming from high school, you don't know what to expect when you played in college. So obviously, college basketball is more physical than high school basketball. College basketball is quicker than you think. There's so many athletes at that level, playing at a high level, that you have to be in unbelievable shape to play Division I basketball. You have to have a necessary skill, like I call it like a secret weapon. You got to either be an unbelievable shooter, you have to be an unbelievable playmaker, you have to be an unbelievable athlete to even give yourself to play Division I basketball. So it depends also what conference you're in. There's some conferences are a little more athletic than others. So there's many factors in college basketball, man. When we went to March Madness, it was the second time in school history. So when you're at a mid-major like Eastern Washington, like I said, you have to win. You have to be the best team in that conference. You have to win the tournament. And then, so there's a Big Sky tournament. And at the end of the year, for when I was there, the top 8 teams play in that tournament to hopefully get that bid to play in March Madness. So we had to win 3 games and we won our final game in Montana to win the championship, and then that gave us a bid to play in the March Madness. Yeah, so when we won the championship in Montana, you automatically qualify. So it was a mix of a lot of emotions, from a walk-on to being able to get the opportunity to play in March Madness, which was a childhood dream and not many kids get. It's just the nature of it. You're not gonna wake up, play college basketball, and have a chance to play in March Madness. That's just not how it goes. It's hard to win your conference. It's hard to compete at that level every single year. So it was an unbelievable feeling to get that opportunity. We actually even got to play in Portland, which wasn't too far from Eastern Washington, so we had a nice fan base there. So we were playing a tough team, Georgetown. I think we were a 13 seed, so there's many different seeds in March Madness. There's 16, so we actually, for a mid-major to get a 13 seed is pretty respectable. So it was it's tough. They're a good team. They're part of a big conference, and we battled them. It was a game of ebbs and flows, and towards the end of that game, we did make a final push to try to get that score, to tilt that score over in our favor, but it just didn't go our way. But all in all, the whole experience as a whole was something that I'll never forget and I'll cherish the rest of my life. It ended up leading the nation in scoring, which it's unbelievable to look back in now and think about that, but at that time, I didn't really even think about it. So Of course, everybody talks about it nowadays, and it's pretty wild to me to even think that happened to me. But it is something that I'll definitely cherish for sure. There's so many moments. Every year there's just iconic moments. My favorite is when a Cinderella team that nobody expects upsets all the number 1, number 2, number 3 seeds. And that's something that I enjoy watching every single year because they don't get that shine throughout the year. If you're not a big major school, you're not on ESPN every night. You're not on the TV in front of millions of people watching you every night. So I really enjoy when teams come in, nobody knows who they are, you never heard of the college, you don't know where it's at, and they're coming in and beating these high major schools. That's something that I love most about March Madness.